Meeting for the Town of Star City to order. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, agenda is approved. All righty, I need approval on the, I don't have the minutes, sorry. We are not having minutes for this month to approve. And I have no one here for public comment. Moving right along. So next on the agenda, Sean, we have an ordinance revision.
We do. So the only item we have today, we are bringing back the swimming pools in the Coastal Forest Overlay District. This, you all recommended to approval in the February meeting. It went to council in March, and they approved to put the 4-foot maximum back in for swimming pools. But it was up for debate about whether or not that was the right measurement, the right maximum for the concrete surrounding swimming pools. So this is, in a sense, kind of like some of the other ordinance revisions we did last year, kind of a working session to see if you have any other suggestions. But I do have information in your packet, and I can kind of go through it. What we did have back was the maximum 4-foot concrete border that is permitted around and in the in-ground swimming pools. So what we looked at, we did research of basically every beach town on the coast of North Carolina to see if any other municipality had similar requirements to us when it comes to not allowing impervious surfaces for new driveways, walkways outside the footprint of the home. We could not find another town that had that requirement. When we looked at maximum concrete around pools, no one had that as well. The one thing we did find was CAMA's Memo 14 in their handbook, and that's also included in your packet. And the Rule 15A says an adjacent deck or apron 6 feet wide is included as part of the swimming pool. This pool deck can be any material, concrete, stone, brick, or wood, and you cannot reduce the width of the pool deck on one side of the pool to allow more than 6 feet on the opposite side. So overall, what every other municipality did was just include this concrete around a swimming pool within their lot coverage. So most of our zoning districts on the island, that comes up to 40% impervious coverage. So essentially what we would look at is you can either follow CAMA's guideline of 6 feet, increase it to 6 feet, and we can include that in the lot coverage. So if you're at 38% and you're going to put 6 feet of concrete around your pool and that puts you over 40, then you can't do 6 feet. So we did make recommendations in here. So the staff does recommend 2 alternatives: that the town leaves the current ordinance as it stands at a maximum 4 feet concrete border around private swimming pools, Or 2, the town removes this requirement from section 5.13G3 and includes a CFOD subsection consistent with current CAMA standards regarding pool borders, calculating the impervious into the overall lot coverage. And I did include a revision with this language in the CFOD ordinance for your review in the packet. Do you all have any questions or thoughts on this? I don't know the full historical reference behind the 4 feet. I do know that Steve, who was here before Amy, did not want impervious at all anywhere on the island. The one exclusion that we have is for commercial properties, right? Commercial lots, they can have impervious surfaces. But this was fought for, I believe, to get to that 4 feet. So that's the background I have on the 4 feet.
So, Sean, I just want to make sure we're clear. What you found in the nearby areas that you looked into, they did not have any restrictions?
So the outer, sorry if I wasn't clear on this, the Outer Banks, Nags Head, Kettle Hills, Kitty Hawk, for their oceanfront swimming pools, they followed that CAMA Rule 15A, where they could have up to a 6-foot concrete border. But no, anywhere else, no requirements. You could have as big of a patio as you wanted around your swimming pool, if that's concrete or brick, stone, if it's slatted deck. It would go into your impervious lot coverage. So that seems to be the standard.
The 6 foot also is functionality as well, correct? As far as
Yeah.
like the tie downs we were talking.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just included overall in the swimming pool. Yeah.
So we don't have to have anything, is what, we can either do keep the 4 foot, take what CAMA has, or not have a restriction.
Correct. Yeah, and that's why it's kind of open to interpretation for you all to find the best wording of the ordinance and the language. But we did find that CAMA put a lot of time and research into this requirement, what they found, their studies for the 6 feet. So we do think it would be worthwhile to follow CAMA's lead and overall just calculate that into the lot coverage, the impervious lot coverage.
How does this play into a pool on the canal that's not oceanfront, for example?
Is that the Coastal Forest Overlay District? So that is on the island.
It's the same.
It is, yes.
I'm just looking at it.
Sure.
I understand what you
Right.
said about CAMA, but
Right.
there is a little different.
So it's CAMA's rules, as long as it doesn't go over the 40%.
CAMA's rule is just the 6 feet. It's just the 6 feet. They don't take into account impervious lot coverage. This is just what they say for their pools on the ocean front, is you can have up to 6 feet of concrete, any kind of apron surrounding the swimming pool. But their rule doesn't have anything to do with lot coverage.
And they would play into oceanfront.
Theirs does, yes. But yeah, this is something that could be applicable for the entire zoning district if we did that.
But not necessarily off the oceanfront, right?
Correct. Well,
Your CFOD goes.
yeah, I think I'm getting a little, that's what I was trying to say, is the CFOD is the entire island. Even if you're not on the ocean front, if you're on the canal, anywhere there is the Coastal Forest Overlay District.
And I'm just using the canal as an example.
Sure.
There's a big
Your
old
house.
pool on
Yeah.
Highway 210 right now that's bigger than the house. Sitting above ground. Do you see it?
Only, Madam Chair, only if like on the canals, only if the swimming pool was within the AEC in which CAMA regulates, would that maximum 6 foot come into play. So if what Sean, and I'm not trying to overspeak
Go ahead.
Sean by any means, but if you had a lot on the canals that for some reason the pool was not located in an AEC, and somebody came in and said, hey, I wanna put a 6 foot or even an 8 foot apron, that square footage of that impervious surface is going to be calculated in the overall lot coverage area. So if Sean is reviewing that permit and they have to show all impervious surfaces on the property, and they're proposing an 8 foot apron, and that puts them over the percentage threshold, they would by rule have to reduce that down.
Correct.
But if the pool would be placed in an area that's not CAMA controlled, it would not fall under CAMA, it would strictly fall under what you just
It's
said.
just gonna fall under the lot coverage rule, which is the way that the ordinance, the recommended ordinance change would read.
Yeah, and I think that's how the language helps, where it says this includes a CFOD subsection consistent with current CAMA standards, so consistent with their standards. And, yeah.
And like you said, Sean, I mean, CAMA put a lot of time and effort to go through all this, so we should, I feel we should go with the standards.
I want to make sure I got this. So if we go with, if we do away with the 4 foot and go with number 2, to include, to go by the CAMA standard and include the CFOD subsection verbiage, then CAMA would apply to where CAMA applies, and any other request would be controlled by the CFOD subsection.
Just the lot coverage, correct.
Okay. It could definitely vary by property.
I don't know if that would be the case. I think it would just be, overall, if we're allowing it to be up to 6 feet, and then if it's over the lot coverage, it would have to come down. I don't know if we would really necessarily want to separate it from oceanfront lots in the CFD or canal lots, if I'm understanding your question.
So if it's not CAMA, for lack of a better word, controlled or in a CAMA environment.
Right, so where would that be on the island, like Topsail Ave?
Well, if
Not
you're
really on the oceanfront or on the canals.
But if you're building one on a lot and it's not within
Right, it would just be lot coverage.
within the setback,
Yeah.
then it's going to be, it will fall under what?
The maximum impervious lot coverage that you can
That's just what
have.
I'm trying to make
Sure.
sure. So that it's not tied to, don't matter where it is, this is how it is.
Right,
Are pools included in the lot coverage calculation?
not the water, no.
And there would be no, there would be no rule about whether they used pervious concrete as that apron, or there would be?
Well, I don't know if I'm, what do you mean, there would be no rule about it?
So if we choose to go the route that it's part of the total lot coverage.
Right.
Is there the option to use a pervious concrete so it's not included in the total lot coverage?
I think this would just be, I think that would be part of this, is to kind of see if we're going to be just talking about the pool borders and the apron for the pool.
Did I answer your question?
I think your question do impervious surfaces, are they calculated towards lot coverage?
Yes.
Right. There was a statement made that Steve didn't want to have that
Or,
involved.
excuse me, pervious surfaces
Yeah, yeah.
calculated, I don't think pervious surfaces are calculated in your lot coverage.
So there still would be the option to use a pervious
like it.
product.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Slatted decks, yeah.
Held to the 6 foot max still?
No, I mean, I think that was part of the interpretation for this, to see if there was another number that you all were comfortable with recommending, or, I still think it would all be under the umbrella of the impervious lot coverage, right? So then, kind of, where would we go for the specific amount? And in this wording, if we, if we're consistent with current CAMA standards, that means we look towards the 6 feet or towards their rules and regulations, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, is there any further discussion? Any questions, comments?
Motion to go with the current CAMA standards, follow the rest of the towns.
I'll second that.
So I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the ordinance revision is approved.
Questions? So general project updates, several people asked for me to include a spreadsheet of everything. So we could not just talk about off the top of our heads what we had going on right now, but the most active that we have, the pet crematorium has been released for construction. The Cape Fear Community College expansion, that's underway. There's a conditional district for Xander Guy that is out there on Sea Oaks and NC 50 that's waiting on a few things. We are talking through with Tops Landing condos with the apartments that are right across the street at 210 and 50 for a second phase for them. Currently, they had originally applied as a conditional district, but they've had to go back and rework a couple things. But the biggest project right now that we're waiting on is Colonial Heights. And that should be in planning board next month. They have everything together there.
How many units?
I believe, it was, 120 to 140. I can pull it up, but I think Kyle might be right there.
All singles, or?
Single-family homes? Yes.
1,000 square feet,
That's so. R10, we did.
that we turned down 5 and approved for 10.
So, yeah, that should be in the workflow for next month. Take 5 Oil, that has been released. Valvoline as well. Advanced Auto Parts. The Starbucks is obviously under construction. We do have the property right beside the Starbucks. I did just speak to their developer, and they are finalizing their contract. So we still don't know what that will be specifically, but a restaurant with a drive-through.
That's the Valvoline.
Yeah, the Valvoline is beside the Go Gas.
Advance Auto is going to be back in this new.
Up by the Harris Cedar. And Take 5, they'll essentially be right beside each other on Austin, across the street. But
Where's the pet crematory one?
Tortuga, right?
It's
Tortuga
at the
Drive?
hospital.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yes. That's it for updates.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, Madam Chair, can I get up and real quick?
Can you get up here? Please, Kyle, would you please come forward?
Super formal, but I just wanted to introduce the new Community Development Director who has been here this afternoon. We've driven him around town, Mr. Jeremy Smith. I'm not expecting him to get up too much, but he's coming to us from the city of Jacksonville. He's been there for 15 years. Prior to that, worked for the city of Benson, Washington County, Beaufort County, Little Washington, and Johnston County. So comes to us with a wealth of knowledge, knows a lot of our local folks, which is good, has worked with a lot of our surveyors and engineers. So we hope he will hit the ground running May 1st. Actually, we know he will hit the ground running May 1st. And he's a proud Pirate grad. So.
Wow, you did a very nice job for him. I would have had him come forward and
Oh, yeah.
do all
Well,
that.
he's not on the clock yet. So,
I need to learn more about him in Johnston County.
yeah.
He's heard of you, Renee, don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't, he will.
No, so part of his onboarding, Madam Chair, we will set up a meeting so that we can go over what's happening, some of the council directives for the planning board for the upcoming year, and we'll set a work plan. So,
Yes, welcome, Jeremy. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome.
You have some good support behind you.
and that's all I had. Thank you.
The Colonial Heights project is 136, so we're right in between. Yes.
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Have a second? Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.